Hi, I am back with uh the second year single. I think I've been calling it the moment you're single, but the book is called the second year single. It's gonna be chapters 11 through 15. So chapter 11 is from Jack's point of view, and we'll get right into it. He's hanging out with his brother, and he's talking about how much he likes Sora and how cool she is and all these things. And Ian, the ER brother who looked at Sora's ankle in the last section of the book, is just like, I don't think she's actually that into you. Your relationship doesn't seem to be going anywhere. I think she's just stringing you along because you were friends and you're friends now, and you're looking too hard into it. Like she doesn't actually want to date you. And Jack's like, yeah, 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 whatever. Why weren't you at your daughter's birthday party? And Ian's just like, oh, things have been hard since their daughter came back, and like she's not in the hospital anymore because she's in remission from cancer. She's like, things have been hard. Like he's like, my relationship has suffered. Hanging out with her is harder just because it feels like we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because like the book mentions that the chances of getting cancer are a lot higher, like of it reoccurring after remission, um, than it is for people who just like never had cancer. So like they're worried about their daughter getting sick again, and they're just that's just why their relationship is suffered, and also why he wasn't at the birthday. Which I guess I don't necessarily understand because I feel like if you're worried someone's gonna die, you spend more time with them. But I, if I'm trying to be empathetic, I can get it. You spend more time with them, the more attached you are to them, the more it hurts when they leave. But it's your daughter; it's gonna hurt if they die, no matter what. Um, so yeah, I think he needs to suck it up and spend as much time as he can with his loved ones. Because cancer or no cancer, you could lose a family member at any moment to anything. Like life is unpredictable. Um, so him and his brother kind of like hang out and go back and forth. They talk about random stuff that I don't think is super important to the plot, or at least I don't actually care because I'm not super invested in Jack and Ian's relationship. I'm invested in Jack and Sora's relationship. So towards the end of their brother hangout time, Jack's like, I'm gonna make up an excuse to be in Sora's neighborhood, and I'm gonna text her and see if she needs anything. And he texts her and he's like, hey, I'm gonna be in your neighborhood. Do you need anything? And she's like, actually, I would love ibuprofen. Like he makes it seem like he's gonna drop stuff off because he has stuff to do. But when he goes to pick up the stuff, he spends time thinking in the store. And he's like, ibuprofen. Okay, Valentine's Day is coming up. She said she's never gotten chocolate from a significant other, so he gets her some chocolate. Um, he's like, I can't show up with just a gift for her, so he gets the dog a toy because he knows she has a dog, and he also gets wine because he's hoping that they'll hang out and like get to chill. So he brings everything over, and he meets the one-eyed dog, Larry, and the dog loves the toy. And Sora invites him in, and they just kind of hang out and drink wine and eat chocolate, just like good times, good vibes. But they're getting tipsy. And he's like, I've always had a crush on you. I had a crush on you in elementary school, and I have a crush on you now. And she's like, I have a crush on you too. And then they kiss. I'm sure it's supposed to be like super dramatic, but I feel like I've been reading romance books for a long time, so it just kind of feels like it's just supposed to happen. It's not like, oh, fireworks. I'm so excited they kissed. Um, and that's how chapter 11 ends. Chapter 12, Jack and Sora make out, and the making out leads to copulation. Um, I'm really not sure what words you can say on here without having things taken down, but it's everything she could have ever wanted. He meets all the needs that she had that she doesn't think any of her other previous partners met. She wakes up the next morning and he's like cuddled up to her, but she has a text from her boss that she missed. And the boss is like, I'm gonna come by and give you your check, and I have exciting news. And she's like, dang, there's like a naked dude in my bed, and there's like, I'm supposed to be doing solo February. My boss is gonna see that I'm not actually doing solo February. So she tried to text her boss, hey, like you don't have to come up. I'm actually not feeling super well. I'm kind of sick. Her boss is like, no, no, the news is quick. The news is quick. So a bunch of hijinks ensues with her trying to make sure her boss doesn't see into her house or maybe notice the guy in her bed. He's still asleep, so she's hoping he stays asleep the entire time. She just talk to her boss and it doesn't make any noise where she knows there's a man in her house when she's supposed to be doing solo February. And she just kind of stands in the crack of the door, almost like like just wide enough like that, like where it would just, you wouldn't be able to see behind me if I was standing here and you were outside of my apartment. And the boss is like, you can tell she thinks this is weird, but she's like, oh, exciting news. They want to have you on the talk show. Your solo February thing is really resonating with a lot of women. And she's like, oh, that's cool, cool. This is all good. I'm super excited. Da, 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 da. Give me the check. You can leave. I don't feel great. I really don't feel good. My stomach doesn't feel good. And then Jack wakes up, and I think he goes, like, he yawns or he coughs. And the boss hears it, obviously, but she's like, oh, my walls are thin, oh, and I don't feel good. You gotta go. And she like kind of shoves her boss out, takes her check, and leaves. And then her boss from the other side of the door was like, that was weird. And she's like, I don't feel good, I'm sorry. Like, obviously it's like a cop out. The boss knows it's a cop out. But she's just like, that's weird. I guess I'm encroaching on her space, I'm gonna go. And that's the end of chapter 12. Chapter 13, Sora kind of has like an existential crisis. I shortened this one down to like a couple of sentences because I didn't think there was a whole lot that it added to the plot. She goes to a deli where she meets Stella, her best friend, the lesbian one, if you guys recall. And she talks about how she really likes Jack, but she's doing solo February. And then Stella says, if Jack is as great as you think he is, he'll wait for you. Um, but Sora's, I guess, not used to men being great, so she's worried. Like, I don't know if he actually will wait for me. And he's like, actually really great. Like, I actually think he's really great. And she decides that her job's more important than a man, which honestly, that's how you should live your life because men come and go. And unless you've like been in a committed relationship with someone for a long time, I don't think most people are worth your job. Like, your livelihood, your finances, being able to support yourself. Like, that's the most logical thing she's done so far. Um, yeah. So then Sora's like, I'm gonna text Jack and go meet up with him so we can talk. So she ends like her little deli date with her best friend, and she walks over to the grocery store because I think she knows he'll be working there, or maybe it's subconscious that she just kind of goes there and he just happens to be there. I don't know, but she ends up over there. um, Chapter 14, Jack is obsessing over Sora at work because, you know, they just had like their little intimate moment. And he has a crush on her. So he really thinks, oh, like their relationship's going forward. Everything he sees reminds him of her. He's thinking about, they have like a pastry chef award bakery opening that bakery opening. Why did I say that? Bakery award show that he wants to take her to. And if you remember previously, or you may not remember because maybe I didn't mention it, his ex girlfriend, the one who's still obsessed with him, the one who's like really rich, like Paris Hilton rich, wants him to take her to it because she's trying to weasel back into his life. And I don't think you can really get back with someone after you cheated on them with your brother in law. Like, that's weird. Especially if that's like a hard boundary for someone. Like, the likelihood of them forgiving him for that is low. But he doesn't want to take her. He wants to take Sora, and he's thinking about Sora. That's all he thinks about. And but then he starts thinking about all the other like adult things he has to do. Like, he wants to open his own bakery. He needs to save up money for that, which he would get all the money he needed if he won that pastry chef award. And then he was like, I need to hire people for that bakery. Like, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of logistics that goes into that, and I need to focus on that too. And I think while he's thinking about Sora, Mal sends him like a like sexy picture. She's not naked, but she's like, I think it's like lingerie, almost like see-through esque. And Sora shows up right at that time. And Sora's like, hey, I really want to keep my job. I really like you, but I really want to keep my job. And Jack's like, I get it, because he literally just went through his head all the things he needs to focus on too. So he can't really focus on those things if he's obsessed with Sora at the time. So he's like, there's only 2 weeks left of February. And he says, I'm willing to wait for you. Sorry. And he says he's willing to wait for her. And she's surprised, and like she doesn't believe him because she already has it in her head that no one is willing to wait for her, like at least subconsciously. And then he's like, they start talking about Valentine's Day. Do you have plans for Valentine's Day? And he's like, yeah, I have a date with a beautiful brunette. And she's like, that makes sense. She's like, a guy like you would have something to do on Valentine's Day. And he's like, I'm just pulling your leg. I'm hanging out with my niece. She's gorgeous and she is a brunette. And she kind of laughs about it. And she's like, oh, well, obviously I'm not doing anything because I just told you I won't even date you for February because of my job. And he's like, hey, do you want to babysit my niece Allie with me? But we can do it as friends. Yeah, okay. And she agrees. So chapter 15 is them babysitting Allie. It's very much so like friendly, but with the undertow of they're both interested in each other because we both know they're interested in each other. Um, Allie does like their makeover, she does their nails, like everything you can imagine a little girl doing um, on like a TV show for a sleepover is what she does. It's very cute because Jack is very patient with her and he lets her do whatever she wants to him basically, and he plays along and he's like, am I pretty? Do you think I need some more makeup? Like, what could I do to be better? You know, Sora's smitten on the side because she's like, he's so sweet, um he's so patient, he'd be a great dad. Like, you know, all those things you start clicking in your head when you really like someone and you're thinking about a future with them. So they have like a little heart to heart where he tells her about why he's no longer with Mal, which I just previously mentioned because she slept with her brother-in-law on Valentine's Day because he had to work. That was her reasoning. And Sora talks about how her marriage ended. Well, how it started and how it ended. It started because she had a pregnancy scare, but she was actually pregnant and she miscarried pretty later on into the pregnancy, actually. And then she was depressed for a while, but her husband didn't seem to care at all. And she just kind of stuck with him because it was like normal. Like, it was a comfort, like you have a person in your life even if they aren't meeting the certain needs that you have. And then they finally break up, I think, when she realizes that the entire relationship he's been dating other people, like he never stopped dating other people, and then that ended that relationship. And then Jack says he wants Sora to go to the award ceremony with him, and he says if she doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to go. But he says there's no obligation, which is kind of manipulative. If I told you I want you to go, and I really am excited to go, but I won't go if you don't go, there is an obligation. You can't say no obligation after that. Like, I feel pressured to come now because you want to go and you really want to go with me. Like, that's his red flag for me. I don't think he's supposed to be. It's supposed to be meant as a red flag, but that's how I would interpret it. Um, and then the chapter ends when they're having their cute little heart to heart over their heart shaped bacon pizza because he knows she likes bacon, and he shouldn't be encouraging that because she really has a bacon obsession, and he shouldn't, like, that's not healthy. But while they're having like their heart to heart, and after they've kissed, okay, they're not even pretending to be friends. They're not even trying that hard. They're just straight into romance. He admits that he's fallen in love with her, and that's literally how chapter 15 ends. And so far, so good. I think if you want like a simple love story, it's going well in that direction. But I think if you're an overthinker like me, it's kind of giving like middle school crush, like the things you would fantasize about what your perfect guy would be without any of the like real substance that comes with people, like the deeper things. Um, but yeah, it's cute and I don't hate it, but I am pessimistic in real life and overly logical, unfortunately. So I can't get as into it as I really hoped I could be or would be with the book. I think I would recommend it to other people. People who like to like really dive into those fantasies and become involved in those worlds. But I'm not one of those people and I'm not there yet. So yeah, that was the second year single chapters 11 through 15. Bye.